Hi guys, and welcome to another technical tutorial on the IBM Decision Server Insights product. This will be the first of two tutorials, and what we're going to cover is the concept of integration between a DSI solution and an OSGI Java class and service. So let's see if we can't demystify some of these concepts. The DSI product runs on top of IBM's WebSphere Liberty server, and the WebSphere Liberty profile server is based around a technology called OSGI. And what OSGI provides is the concept of Java classes being encapsulated as reusable components which can then be plugged together. Now, that's all kind of good stuff and all kind of raw technical stuff, but from our perspective, and I'm not going to go into OSGI in great depth, but from our perspective, what it means is that if we want to call arbitrary Java code from within our own custom Java agent, then that Java agent has to include the Java code in the agent implementation itself, or if it wishes to include other Java files, or Java classes for example, those Java classes need to be made available as what are known as OSGI bundles. Gosh, lots of phrases here. So here's the high-level story. We build a Java class, we package that Java class as an OSGI bundle, we define that OSGI bundle to our solution, our DSI solution. We build a Java agent which then references our Java code bundled or encapsulated in an OSGI bundle, and we call that Java code from our Java agent. We're not allowed to directly call extra Java classes. So, with that concept, let's see if we can put this into some practice. So what I do, or what I've got rather, is a simple bare bones DSI solution. Nothing fancy about this solution yet. It contains a business model, and our business model just has some simple entity and event data. We're not going to be doing much with our DSI solution. Rather, our goal here is to be able to call Java code from one of our custom Java agents. So we've got a simple model here. All right. So the first thing I want to do is, from my Eclipse environment, I want to switch over into my Java perspective. In my Java perspective, I'm now going to create a new project, which is an OSGI bundle project. If you search on OSGI, you'll find that this project type called an OSGI bundle project. I hit the next button and I give it a name. I'll call it my bundle. No fancy naming required here. Call it whatever you like. However, we need to create something called a blueprint file. And again, all of these details are all OSGI related. If we're just wanting to create some Java code and encapsulate it with our solution, we don't have to know too much about OSGI. If you're interested, there's a wealth of books and documentation out there, but we need to create this thing called a blueprint file, and we do not want our new bundle, which is going to contain our Java code, to be part of any OSGI applications. So two things need to be changed in the first page: generate the blueprint file and no to application membership. Hit the next. This is where within our project our source code is going to be. Leave that as default. And here in the OSGI bundle setup is the name of our bundle, which version our code is going to be, and a very important concept called the bundle root. Now the bundle root is where within our project the bundle metadata is going to be. We want to set that to none. Delete anything which is in bundle root. We want our metadata to be right off the root of our project. I hit the finish button, and what we'll find is that we have a new Java project here. Literally, that's all we've got. We've built a Java project, but it's got certain tagging that says it's going to be a bundle. We know it's a Java project because our folder up here has got a J for Java, but it's also got the icon which is used for OSGI. Great. So now we need to code the Java code that we wish to call from our Java agent. And what I'll do is I'm going to create an interface. I'm going to imaginatively put it in the package called com.callban, that's my name, and I'm going to call it greeting. So we're creating a Java interface here. And here's our Java interface. Now in another screen I've got the code, so if you see me wander my mouse over to the side, it's because I'm copying and pasting it from elsewhere. But the code for our greeting interface is going to be no more than a method called greet, which is going to take somebody's name and print the greeting in the console. But that's the interface, not yet an implementation, that's the interface. So I'll save that, and now I'll create an implementation of that interface. So we'll call it greeting impl, and we'll put it in the package com.callban.impl, and we'll say this is going to implement the interface called greeting. There we go. And again, classic Java programming stuff. We've now got an implementation of the greeting interface called greeting impl. Here's our stub generated implementation of the method. I'll just copy in some simple implementation code for this very, very, very simple Java class. And what our implementation code does is it simply says hello to the console and returns a string. And that's the end of our Java coding. I told you there wasn't going to be much here. That's the end of our Java coding. So the notion here is that we now have a Java interface called greeting. We now have an implementation of that interface, and we would like to set it up such that we can call this code from within a custom Java agent. Now, although we've written the code here, there's a few more tinkering things we have to do relating to the concept of an OSGI bundle. So by creating the bundle project, we've already said that our code lives within the bundle, but we have a few more things to do. Specifically, we need to open up the manifest file of our bundle. And that opens up in the Eclipse manifest editor. Now this manifest editor knows that we are in an OSGI environment, and some of the things that we have to do, well specifically the things that we have to do, is we have to go to the runtime tab and declare what packages our bundle exports. So we're going to say it exports the com.callban package. Now this is the value of OSGI. Anything else in the jar file, which will be the implementation of the bundle, anything other than these named packages are not exposed from the jar file. That means there's absolutely zero contamination coming out of the jar file if there were any other classes contained within it. The next thing that we need to change is we need to go over to the build properties, and the build tab, and we see here it's flagged as a custom build. Uncheck that and check metainf, OSGI-inf and bin. That says that our jar will include these three directories when we export the jar from here. We can see it in the build properties and it looks good there. If we hit the save button, we should have no errors reported. That's great. And that finishes our coding, for want of a better word, of the OSGI bundle. Now, one more thing needs to be done, and that is this OSGI bundle, it doesn't yet, what's the word I'm going to use here? It doesn't yet advertise itself in the OSGI service registry. That's where the concept of the blueprint comes into play. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to open up the blueprint file. I'm going to select my blueprint. I'm going to say add a bean. We select the bean. We select the class, which will be com.callban.greetingImpl. So that's the implementation of my bean. And then we say we're going to create a service from this bean. We click that. That creates this service entry, and we're going to say this service implements the greeting interface. And that's it. So what we've done here, and again, I realize this is all sounding like black magic, but just again, follow the bouncing ball for just now. But what we've done is we have built, using the editing tooling, a blueprint file which says that there's this bean which is implemented by my Java class, and that associated with that bean there's an OSGI service which is associated with both the greeting interface and references the implementation bean. And what that means is that in the OSGI environment, when an instance of this OSGI service is created, it will provide the greeting interface, but when an instance of the service is called for, it will map that interface to the implementation of the bean, which is the implementation of the greeting interface. And again, if you don't know OSGI, I'm going to say that's okay. If you follow this recipe over and over again when you are building your Java code, you'll find it's not that difficult. You don't have to understand it, you just have to follow these steps. And save that file, and we have finished building our bundle. That's it. There's no more. Now I can go in and edit the code of the Java anytime I like. I don't have to come back and modify any of my other OSGI properties. So if you were to import this Java project, you would find that you can go straight to the code without having to mess with the manifest and the blueprint, but I've shown you how to create them from scratch. So think of the bundle now as a Java jar file which contains your Java application code, and we want to call that from our DSI solution. So in order to do that, we have to go to the DSI solution, go to its properties, go to its project references, and add the project, which is the bundle we created, into the references of the solution. So that says when that solution is deployed, it will deploy with the bundle that we have just implemented. Boom. So again, what I did there was I selected my solution, properties, project references, and then added the bundle that I call my bundle as a reference to the solution, so that when I deploy the solution, the bundle will come with it. And now it's time to build our Java agent. So switch over to the Decision Insights perspective, new Java agent project. And I'll call it my JA for my Java agent. We'll say my JA for the name of the agent and hit the finish button. And what that has done is that has created a new Java agent project. Now, I'm going to assume that you know how to build Java agent projects. It's pretty well documented in the DSI documentation. But for here, we're going to create a simple agent which is not related to any entities and which is going to be triggered by the arrival of my event. Again, this is not DSI programming per se. This is much more a tutorial on building Java applications related to OSGI and Java agents. So I've completed my agent descriptor file. I can now go into the source of my generated Java agent, and here's my Java agent code. Now this here is where I want to call my external Java classes, because what we don't want to do is just build bigger and bigger monolithic Java classes that implement Java agents. We would like to encapsulate that code in their own classes, and to do that we need to create OSGI bundles, which is what we just did at the beginning of the tutorial, and now it's time to use that OSGI bundle. So the way we do that is that we use some Osgi API. Now, when you first see it, you're going to go, oh gosh, what is going on here? But with a bit of experience and a bit of practice, I will show you how to use it. So in order to do this, I'm going to copy some Osgi API code. Yeah, I'm just bringing it in my clipboard, and I'm going to copy it, and I'm going to paste it into my Java agent. And there we go. All right. Now I'm going to hit Control-Shift-O to resolve any of my unknown references. Notice greeting is still unreferenced, but we'll come to that in a minute. So what do we have here? Now this code is Osgi framework code. The way to read this is we ask for the agent's own bundle. So we get the bundle for the current agent, because everything in DSI is an Osgi bundle. We get the bundle for the current agent, and then we ask for the Osgi bundle context of the current agent's bundle. Anyway, we end up with this object called a bundle context. Then what we do is we create some variables and set them to null. If we got a bundle context, which we did, then we ask the bundle context to give us a service reference to an implementation of the greeting class. Now this is where Osgi again comes into play. We have a contract in place which is saying that we want something that implements the com.callban.greeting class. We want Osgi to go out and find us a good reference to that class. So we ask Osgi to go find us a reference to it. If we get a reference back, then we want a concrete implementation to that service, and we get back a handle, an object pointer to an instance of the greeting service. And then we can call my greeting function, and then we can release any references we may have to the dynamically retrieved service that we got from the Osgi bundle lookup. And again, what I encourage you to do is study this code and maybe Google around if you need. Otherwise, the core point being is that at this statement here, we finally have our greeting service where we can call the greeting methods upon it. Now you'll notice here that we don't have, or we're not able to resolve, the greeting class. So where is that coming from? Well, the greeting class was contained in my bundle. But we are coding here in my JA, which is a Java agent. Okay. So why don't we see, since the greeting service is already part of my DSI solution, why don't we see it available? And that is because, once again, because of the policies of Osgi. We go to the Java agents manifest file. Again, that's the Java agents manifest file. We open it up, and now we go to our dependencies tab, and we see the list of packages which our Java agent is dependent upon. Now, the com.callban package is not known. So we hit the add button and we go find com.callban. And we now import that package as a package that is used by our Java agent. Again, this is sort of the core concepts and core services of what Osgi provides. It explicitly defines what the imports and exports of a particular bundle are, and our Java agent bundle is no exception. So after having added com.callban, I save my new manifest file for my Java agent, and now if I hit Control-Shift-O again, we should find that we have resolved the missing references. They've now been found because we say that my Java agent bundle now depends on the bundle that I called my bundle. Phew. And that's it. Our code, when it's called, our Java agent code, will call the greeting service, and the greeting service will log to the console some name, because that's what we said my implementation of my greeting service is going to do. It's going to log something to the console, and if all has gone well, we should see some messages appear in the console. So now I'm going to start my DSI server. I just happen to not have it previously started, but it's always good to watch somebody else's server starts up. So I'm starting my DSI server. That takes a minute or so to start up cleanly. And there it says it started, and now my DSI server is up and running. I'm now going to export my DSI solution. So I come over here and right click and say, no I don't, I come over here and right click and say export solution archive under the Insight Designer. I select a file and I write that file into the file system. So what I'm doing is I'm exporting my DSI solution. And since my DSI solution also references my bundle, because we added that to the preferences, references, not preferences, the references of my project, so too will we have that bundle deployed. Now I'm going to launch my deployment tooling. I'm going to launch my Insight Designer toolbox, and give it a second or so. I'm going to go to solutions. We're going to see that we have no solutions deployed to the server. I'm going to deploy a new solution, projects, ODM DSI, and exports, OSGI services. I'm now going to deploy my solution. I'm deploying it now to the DSI runtime. We've now deployed it there, just waiting for the solution to become active, and done. So now my new solution is deployed in the DSI server. I'm now going to open a JavaScript which creates an event against the DSI runtime. All it does is create an event, submits that event to the runtime, and I hit the run button, and now it's cooking, it's connecting to the runtime, and it's submitting an event to the runtime. Since my server's just started, things are still warming up a little bit, and lo and behold, we have a message written to the DSI console from the greeting implementation that says hello. And if I run my events again, we see that in pretty much real time that Java code is being called. Wow, a lot of stuff. Now let's do a quick recap, and again I expect that you'll probably be studying this tutorial a couple of times, but what we did was we created an OSGI bundle project. In the OSGI bundle project, we created a Java interface that exposed a method called greet. We then implemented that class, and we provided a concrete implementation of that method. This is still within the bundle. This is our target code. We then modified the meta information related to the bundle. We changed its exports, so it exported com.callban, and we changed its build properties so that it was built properly. That was the end of our bundle building. We then added a reference to our DSI solution to the bundle project. We added a reference to the bundle project. We then created a new Java agent project, and in the Java agent project we implemented in code a call to the OSGI services to do an OSGI lookup of my named service, and that named service comes from the bundle. We then modified the meta information manifest file of the Java agent so that it included or imported the com.callban bundle. We then exported a complete solution. we deployed the solution, we ran an event into the DSI server, and we saw that the Java agent looked up the OSGI service, which then made a call to the greet method that we coded on that Java agent, and then actually ran it, and we saw the output there. Lots of stuff. Now, I said at the beginning of this tutorial that this was going to be part 1 of 2. And if you don't think that you've got much use for building Java agents which are calling OSGI code, I can just about believe that. However, the story we've just told about creating OSGI bundles, in the next tutorial you're going to find that that becomes absolutely vital for building your own custom vocabulary for business rules using rule agents and not Java agents. But that's a tease for the next tutorial, and we're going to end here. I hope you found this useful. Looking forward to building you more technical tutorials in the future. Thanks for now, and bye-bye.